have an MOU with several schools that really help confirm their commitment to procure um, chopped diced vegetables. So on both sides, what are those type of agreements? What are those type of things we could put into place that really just kind of solidify the arrangement?
Mhm.
I mean, not that I want to get rid of the handshake, but contracts can be very useful when you have to buy a piece of equipment,
Yeah.
or you have to prove to a funder that, yes, you do have a use for that. So there's a lot of different ways that it can be leveraged.
Yeah. I'm just noticing, that we have Amber here and we have Kim. Oh, I don't know if Kim left. I guess maybe she left. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but uh, Bianca also from St. Peter's. You represent some other institutional markets. I'm curious if you have anything else to bring that's coming up for you to share.
Nothing really from me that's coming up to share. I mean, I feel like this has been really good discussion and, nothing more that I wouldn't probably echo what everybody else has already kind of said. Um, yeah, just that, yeah, nothing's coming to mind.
Okay.
I have a question. It's not really in real, well, yeah, I guess it is related. I feel like it's just a question that I haven't gotten answered yet, really, of what to do. We were talking about Cisco and the contracts, and that's a huge thing in Billings is the contracts in the schools. And I don't know if any of you have advice from like not just me as the local food coordinator, but as like a citizen and consumers, like we want more local food in the schools. And from my understanding, there's like none in Billings because of the contract, and they were gonna negotiate. The Montana Farmers Union was going to negotiate with the school board, and then they had already signed the contract. So I don't
Yes.
know if any of you have advice or
I will tell you that they're up for renewal. They're going out to bid currently. So what is written into the contract right now, they can't really do anything about it and they can't ask. They can certainly ask for the change. It doesn't mean that the FSMC is going to make the change because of that contract. This upcoming school year, for 25-26, they are going out to bid and getting, they're in that process right now. So as of next school year, they will have a new contract and I can share with you that there is some language in their current contract that like asks that Billings as the school food authority has asked for more in terms of local food and in terms of um, nutrition, in terms of farm to school, in terms of geographic preference. So I've been trying to work with schools that have FSMC contracts throughout Montana to add that language in. That language is optional. But
Mhm.
in our prototype, our Montana OPI prototype that we put out, it's already written in there for them, so they can choose to use that language or not.
Mm.
So most of them that are going out to rebid this year have chosen to use that language and or expand upon it. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction and kind of a little bit of a silver lining, like my job as the um, state agency OPI farm to school specialist. Fortunately for me, I was voluntold that I'm in charge of FSMCs and vendor agreements. So I've been trying to use it to my advantage, that I'm the farm to school specialist, so I'm going to try to work this in anywhere that I possibly can. Um, so, or at least encouraging the use of it. So, like I said, it's optional language that is in our prototype, and they can either take it or leave it or expand upon it. Um, so currently we only have five schools that use an FSMC, which is actually a really, really small amount. But again, the size of our state is pretty small. But in comparison to other states, how many contracts that they have to manage. So yeah, just being able to have those individual conversations with those schools and to let them know that, hey, this is something that you might be interested in wanting to add in. And quite a few of them have stepped up and included that language. So look
That's
for it.
so,
It's coming.
and to piggyback on what Amber's saying there, just using Cisco as an example, since that was who you threw out in your question. So they currently have more than 40 Montana producers that they have contracts with that they stock in their warehouse in Billings. And the thing is that a lot of people, to Amber's point about the five schools, um, a lot of people end up with what's called a street contract. And so it's a little narrow list of product available that they can choose from at a choke point price. From my perspective, my word, no one else's. So, but those products exist if the schools and other institutions do what Amber is laying out there. So, like, if you look at MSU and U of M, which MSU is already has quite a lot of local food, and U of M, since they've changed school food directors, is moving in that direction. All that food comes on a Cisco truck for them.
And so Amber, if somebody, in Billings, a local advocate wants to see if they could, someone, whatever, from the schools or whomever, wants to see if they can dialogue with the purveyor. I don't know who the contract is, if it's Tedesco or Cisco, but whoever it is, if they want to engage in this conversation now that bids are going or are out or whatever, how do they go about doing that?
Well, currently the contract is with Sodexo right now with Billings, and so you would ultimately need to reach out to like the food service director, either underneath Sodexo and see if it's a possibility to get in with them, or if you're waiting for this upcoming school year for 25-26. We don't know that it'll be Sodexo that will win the bid. There should be a couple different companies um bidding for Billings. It might end up being Sodexo that wins again. So I would just wait and see who wins that bid and then reach out to them and let them know that you're interested in being a vendor to that contract.
And I guess I was thinking more along the lines of, I'm just making this up, but let's say uh, I don't know, I'm an interested parent who wants to promote getting more local food in the school district in Billings, and I've developed a relationship with the food director. How it seems to me it might be helpful, and tell me where I'm wrong. I'm just making this up as I go, but it seems to me it might be helpful if I knew who might be bidding on this new contract and maybe could have a dialogue with them before. And I'm just wondering how do I go about finding that information? Or is that possible?
I would reach out just to the school, to the school first, because it's the SFA, it's the School Food Authority that is putting out this information. So, and it should be public information. So I would reach out and see if they've received any bids yet and who those are from. They may or may not, they're in the middle of the process right now. So, and then the opening of the bids should it uh I'm not sure. It should be upcoming here soon. But I would reach out directly to the SFA to find out that information.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I'm really a neophyte here, but I got on the call just to try to see what the discussion was, and I missed the first talk. But this last little bit you've been talking about, I guess I have a couple specific questions and then kind of a systems question. Amber, do you know what the Helena School District situation is on these bids and local food? Do they have language like Billings that they're looking for it or not?
Yes, they do have language in there for local food, nutrition, geographical preference. Yes,
And so,
they used it.
yeah, I
I think
figured they,
there was only one,
I figured
I
they
think there
would.
was only one school that decided not to use
Okay.
some of,
So
but
as
yeah,
as a
Helena did.
local engaged citizen, that wants to see our local food system expanded, I guess what's going through my head is that I should know better just how much is already being done. I mean, I know who to talk to. I know Kim and I know the people at Food Share and stuff, but I haven't really asked these questions. And if I'm trying to get a couple more more growers in the Helena Valley, and I'm trying to get people, uh, find someone that's, market thinking attuned enough to go find out how they might be a vendor for that bidding. What it seems to me that needs to happen in Helena is at least some kind of a working group of people who are asking those kind of questions, not the specialists that are already doing it, but out in the lay community. That there's kind of that the school board hears that we want to break down the barriers to having local vendors, and this catch-22 kind of thing, and it's a timing thing. And so two thoughts are, one would be, I know there's this talk about a food summit coming up maybe next year, and also the new director who Robin sent the link to her, confirmation session at the legislature, and it was inspiring to hear the support for this kind of thing. And so, is there an opportunity between now and this food summit for some real proactive, opportunities for the farmers union, the farm bureau, through the state ag department to really figure out, where these choke points are, and how in 18 months or for the next bidding process, we're doubling the amount of local vendors, or set some metric and then figure out what the campaign would be to hit that metric. Is that a useful question for this conversation?
I think it's an essential question for this conversation.
So where does that question live then? I mean, I have a lot on my plate, but I like to ask questions. But if I'm thinking about, systemic, I mean, I'm right now, Helena and the Helena Valley, the county, are doing their 10-year update growth policies. So by the end of the fall, one thing I know is that the people I'm working with on this, that should be something that both the county and the city and the school board are saying, we want more local growers, finding the language and where they can maybe make it. But it sounds like the state's in a good opportunity. We have a good opportunity now at the with this administration, with Amber at OPI and this new director, to maybe push the envelope a little bit. I mean, you guys probably know more about that possibility than I do, but is that a discussion to start having with people who aren't you guys that are always the ones on these calls, but some of us that really support this, but don't quite know how to get involved, and we're not ready to be frontline about it, but we want to make it happen.
So I will just mention, I know specifically for Helena, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this group or not, but they do have the Kids Nutrition Coalition, which
Okay.
actually, Lisa Lee sits on that one as well. And we actually have a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the Helena Food Share.
Okay.
And there's a few different players that are part of this group, but I know that they have spoken like in the past, like with been a part of like the wellness committee that's at the Helena School District.
Mhm.
And it just kind of becomes like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Sure.
Like, so the more that we're going to the school board, the more that we're advocating for ourselves, and the bigger, the bigger we can build this spider web of network of people and come together. And even if we show up at school board meetings to be like, look, this is what we want for our kids, this is what we want for our community. Not only is it helping our students, but it's helping our local producers. We can, but I think the more we continue to grow and advocate for this, like that's going to be our one of our first steps. I think it a step in the right direction was that, yeah, Helena did include nutrition, and they did include some farm to school stuff language into that,
Great.
to their upcoming contract. So that's a huge step forward. But now it's just still letting them know, like, we're here, this is what we want, this is what we're doing, here's how we can help. Um, so again, like this bid is going to be going out to several FSMCs. So we don't know that Sodexo will win this next round. But if they do, like Robert Worthy, he has been making good strides, and he has been trying to bring in local foods, and he's fitting it in wherever he possibly can. Um, but he's got a lot of different things on
Sure.
his plate. So, and he also attends the
Yeah.
Kids Nutrition Coalition meetings as
Okay.
well. So sometimes it's really good to hear his side of things
Sure.
and the challenges that he's up against as the food service director.
Okay. Well, great. That gives me, I think what I'm hearing is for me and people that are like me, that we need to get to know these people and I don't know if we need to come to the meetings so much right now, but get to know these people and talk to them. I'm still trying to think what I'm really asking, but this has been helpful for my thinking about it.
So
go
one
ahead.
of the big challenges in Montana, to your point about getting to know people, is that pretty much the big towns aside, Helena, Bozeman, Billings, Great Falls, Missoula, every school building almost is its own school district, and it has its own school board that makes decisions about what the food budget is and what's included in that budget and what kinds of foods are important. And so the more growers that interface with their local school district, from my perspective, the better.
Gotcha. Thanks.
I'm going to state the obvious, but it just really kind of hit me like a 2x4. Just the comment that all the speakers made over and over again. It's about relationships, and in Kay-Ann's example, how the schools weren't talking to each other. Without it becoming too much work, it sounds like there's an opportunity to be bringing the players that you see as the players, Max, which are outside the bubbles that we're thinking of. But these are the people, whether it's your policy people or all those people, to get them all in a room with producers, some people from the school district, whatever, and just start a conversation. It doesn't, I just think there's like that could, without you going to all those meetings, rather bring them to you and ask them all to give
Yeah,
up an hour of their time together to explore something or hear from different perspectives. I don't know. I'm really struck by that.
Well, I do think there's an opportunity here, Robin, in the planning for the 2026 summit that we have those intentional conversations that build a track of dialogue that is going to be legislatively focused. And that we have the other people that need to be in the room are the people who are making decisions um, for this state. And so how do we make sure that as that planning moves forward, that we're really looking at how do we design those conversations and who needs to be in the room to be part of them? Because I think with this is I think there's a lot of pieces here that are amazing leverage points. You pointed out the cost of food rising. You know, we've discussed before about there might be some meat behind the statements of our national you know, director of health behind how do we make America healthy again? And how is local food part of that conversation? And how do we get that to the state, not only the people within our communities, but our state leaders? So they start hearing it loud and clear.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, the 33 by 33 in this summit is to me the opportunity to build those platforms and get the right people in the room that go to legislature in 2027 and make some really important decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% there. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really coordinated.
Yeah.
In big way.
Drive it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, it's almost 4 o'clock. Um, I just want to thank everyone. I learned so much. I know I have a lot more I need to learn, and I'm excited to learn. And um, yeah, thank you to all of our speakers. Robin, thank you so much too. So much knowledge. Thank you, Amber, as well, for your feedback. I'd love to learn more about what you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I got a lot out of this. I appreciate it. Thank you everyone for your time. Really appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. It was really fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, everyone.